Good evening. I'm Kevin Barger, Director of Music Ministry at Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. This is our Music Minute, where we're taking a look at the hymns that we'll be using in worship tomorrow on the second Sunday of Advent. And we're going to start with our hymn of the day, a wonderful hymn, All Earth is Hopeful. This was commissioned by Incarnation Lutheran Church in Shoreview, Minnesota. And David Cherwin actually did an arrangement of this and worked on this hymn that you'll be hearing as we use for the accompaniment tomorrow when we sing it. It's a Spanish hymn and tune, Toda la Tierra, and it's set in almost a conversational form. It sometimes doesn't feel like you're singing a hymn, if you will. The hymn runs out the meaning of Emmanuel, God with us, of course key and central to our Advent themes, and it uses the imagery of the highway from Isaiah as well as the gateway from the Psalms. So this is a wonderful, newer hymn, All Earth is Hopeful. So a wonderful, as I said, newer tune. All right, we are going to move next to one of the communion hymns, and hopefully we'll have time to do these communion hymns tomorrow. Our bell choir is going to be playing some special music during communion as well, so that'll be first. But then we're going to move to some sort of easier repetition kind of songs. One of them is We Are Waiting, and this is a beautifully simple, singable melody. It accompanies the confident statement that Jesus came to bring peace, something that we really can use in this day. A request in the third phrase of each stanza asks Jesus as the Son of Justice to shine on us and as the loving shepherd to lead us, as you might have guessed. In the last line, we return to this patient expectation of wait, wait, wait. The song is suitable not only for Advent, which is of course what we're using it for, but for the second coming of Jesus at any time we find ourselves waiting with hope and anticipation. This is written by John Helgen, and he is the director of music at Roseville Lutheran Church in Roseville, Minnesota. He's very active in the church music community. So we are waiting. Going to switch over to the piano for this one. Just a beautiful, beautiful tune. The other one that we're going to try during communion, they're short, that's why there are multiple ones, is In Silence We Wait. And this is one we've done before, although it is still new. And this is a simple chant that just keeps repeating and repeating. And it invites those who are assembled to find God in silence, darkness, and light. And you'll hear that in the words. And it came to use through a resource developed to support prayer around the cross, which was a simple service of chanting and candlelighting used at Holden Village, which we've talked about several times before. Susan Masters is actually responsible for this, and she worked as a pediatric oncology social worker for several years, and she has now turned to a Lutheran pastor as her profession. She grew up with a sister who was deaf, and so she learned American Sign Language and has often served as an American Sign Language interpreter. So this is In Silence We Wait. You can just hear how calming that is and how we can easily flow into the chant nature of that. All right, next we will move to Prepare the Royal Highway. This is our gathering hymn, and this is a favorite Advent hymn of many. It comes to us and it really refers to the Isaiah passage about where a highway is made straight for the King of Kings. And the hymn is of Scandinavian descent, and it's a dance-like hymn, so it kind of moves it right along, and it's very jaunty, if you will. So Prepare the Royal Highway, and this version of it is a little less jaunty than you might be used to. So a little bit different. So, not at all like the Dance We'll Sing Tomorrow, a bluesy version of it, which is quite nice as well. Let's reflect a little bit longer. And last but not least will be our sending hymn, On Jordan's Bank, the Baptist Cries, another of the great well-known Advent hymns. This was originally written in Latin, and Charles Coffin wrote it. He wrote more than 100 hymns over his lifetime. He was also the rector of the University of Paris. And this tune was in manuscript form from a 15th century Latin Christmas tune. The hymn was an interpretation into an existing chant. And Michael Praetorius was responsible for the tune, and he was the son of a Lutheran who was a colleague of Martin Luther. So that kind of helps put you in the timeline and the history there with some important folks in the Lutheran world. So this is On Jordan's Bank, the Baptist Cry. So you got a little precursor of a Christmas song in there as well. you probably recognized. So thank you for joining me this evening as we look at the second Sunday of Advent hymns. We'll look forward to being together again next week for the third Sunday in Advent already. And then it'll be the fourth Sunday and Christmas Eve all in the same day. Wow. So if you're coming in person tomorrow, 8:30 and 11 here in the sanctuary, you can see from earlier that the Chrismon tree has been set up and is looking beautiful. And the sanctuary is starting to look a lot like Christmas as we prepare for his coming. Also on Wednesday evenings, there is a worship service at 7 p.m. It's very short. It's the Holden evening prayer service, and it has a brief sermon and a hymn as well as part of that. So we hope that you can join us on Wednesday evenings at 7 as well. Those are not live streamed, but the live stream service at 11 on Sunday will continue. Thanks again for joining us. We'll talk again next week.